Thanks for tuning in to your favorite content creator, UTV. To find out more, follow us on our social media platforms: YouTube UTV124, Facebook UTV124, Instagram UTV124, Twitch UTV124, TikTok UTV_124, and Flow TV channel 124. Remember, UTV, TV for you. I can't
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the show. It is Monday, August 23rd, 2021. It is an absolute pleasure being here with you, and I do hope that you had a good weekend. I hope it was safe. I hope you are relaxed. I don't know whatever it was you're doing under all of that rain. I am happy that you are here with me today. And for those of you watching us on, as always, on social media, the different platforms where we stream every day from 11 a.m. Thank you and good morning on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Twitch, TikTok, Nipot. Thank you. Also, if you are on watching us on television on channel 124, that is UTV Underground Television. Good morning to you. And if you're listening to us on our radio station partners, Hits FM 92.1 and 91.1, a very pleasant good morning to you if you are driving or if you're home with the radio right next to your ear like my grandmother is. I do hope that you guys are doing all right. And you know, we're starting off with the weekend stuff, and I know for a lot of people, some of my friends are saying, Macy, even the weather conspired with Pip for everybody to stay inside because of all that rain and everything. So we'll start there. There are some images. For some people, it's not surprising to see a different kind of flooding and in different areas, but it really is something that we need to work on. But if you haven't seen it yet, let's take a look at what Castries look like.
Well, yeah, massive. That's the Grenadier bus stop. Yep. The Castries taxi stand. Yep.
And that was on Friday. It wasn't much better the day after that. So clearly it's something that has to be worked on in different communities. And so that is a serious issue. And it's not just in town, in Castries. I know that for other areas that continues to be a problem. And more so, you know, even when it's around health institutions, to have that kind of flooding and everything happening. And I'm talking about Anse-la-Raye. In Anse-la-Raye, there is a serious problem there. And I know some people have come out to say, you know, really shared their perspective on it, their experience on it, and things haven't gotten any better. So we'll take a look at what Anse-la-Raye is looking like with the health center, with no rain, no nothing, not too much at least. But this is what it looks like. So the Anse-la-Raye Health Center under construction, and that was taken earlier this year. Now, we know how important it is when people talking about health, and we're in the middle of the pandemic. We're trying to get through this for the past 2 years now, and this is where we are. Of course, remember Fede being the head of the Command Task Center of COVID. So of course it is really, really important that we know what's going on there. And for all of what we've seen, and in particular in Anse-la-Raye canneries, and people like to equate them to, you know, the poorest communities on island. I have met some people there, and I have to say that the people that I've spoken with, they are nothing if very honest and sincere. And I think all communities need proper representation, but I'm telling you, Anse-la-Raye canneries are in dire need of people to properly represent them, and not people conning them or looking for, you know, something for their own personal gain. And I think that is what they've gotten. That's what they had with Fede, and they looked for a change. But with regards to the projects happening there, and the health center clearly is one of them. There was definite flood potential in there. So now when it was being redeveloped, that had to be something that was, you know, calculated in how it would be redeveloped. And now if we're talking about projects, I want us to listen to what Fede has to say recently with what's going on there, how he wants to be remembered, how he thinks he should be remembered for the work that he has done in the community.
Left a lot for him to finish. He has to finish the Waterfront project, which will definitely help the economy of Anse-la-Raye. He has to finish the drain around the field. He gets to cut the ribbon on the health center and the preschool in Jacmel. He also gets to cut the ribbon on the opening of the lights in the Jacmel field, and also the studio that we have done in Anse-la-Raye. He gets to cut the ribbon. So he has a lot of ribbon cutting to do.
Yeah.
Which we have done the work. He gets to cut the ribbon, unfortunately.
Yeah, that's always the Labour Party. They're lucky like that.
I hope he gives you the credit anyway.
Left a lot for him to finish. He has to finish the Waterfront project, which will definitely help the economy of Anse-la-Raye. He has to finish the drain around the field. He gets to cut the ribbon on the health center and the preschool in Jacmel. He also gets to cut the ribbon on the opening of the lights in the Jacmel field, and also the studio that we have done in Anse-la-Raye. He gets to cut the ribbon. So he has a lot of ribbon cutting to do.
Yeah.
Which we have done the work. He gets to cut the ribbon, unfortunately.
Yeah, that's always the Labour Party. They're lucky like that.
I hope he gives you the credit anyway.
So Fede, clearly they're boasting about the work that he has done in Anse-la-Raye canneries, and saying that all Wayne Gerard has to do is just cut ribbons, and continue the projects that he has started, because he's done so much. And I think it's easy when you're going on a radio station with Mr. Wow Champagne, who will not ask any questions. He will just, you know, do what he has to do what he's used to doing for the past couple of months, and, you know, just continue in that same vein. So we're going to discuss what's happening in Anse-la-Raye canneries. When Fede says that about the waterfront projects, even that too, the investigation, I think, has to happen with the money being spent there, and the specific people, namely maybe two of them, getting money. And while others, their little houses got painted, people got money in their hand to do what they wanted to do. Also, when you look at it, when you're going to pay people for their votes, it's nice and easy to say you're giving to help with the waterfront and everything like that. And that's why I think these things have to be investigated. When you're talking about these waterfront projects where somebody got so much money, they took the money and created their own little business where they could have their garage, and then they have an electricity part of it. Mwekidi. And I'm not naming names right now, but this is what's happening in Anse-la-Raye. So when people now, after an election, get to sit there and talk about all the work that they've done in the community, when the people themselves, they know, they live there, they understand how they have been neglected, and only now only recently, right before elections, they'll try to come and vegle them with doing some certain things. And for me, I'll speak about the Anse-la-Raye Health Center. We're going to start with that. Let's take a look at the next image there, because if we're going to talk about projects and who living what for whom, then let's take a look at the Anse-la-Raye Wellness Center project brief. He continues to boast about that, and what's his name, Champagne, saying that's what the SLP like to do, that they're always lucky to be getting projects just left for them. It says here that in April 2013, after the decision was taken to relocate the new Anse-la-Raye Wellness Center at the site of the existing health center, May 5th, 2014, the Ministry of Health presented the revised survey plan of the area that included the additional lands that was necessary for the new development. During the initial consultation with the stakeholders of the Ministry of Health, NIPRO negotiated with a team of consultants for the design services. We can go down. It says here, NIPRO presented the first preliminary design to the Ministry of Health's technical team for review on the 12th of November and revised preliminary design on December 2014. The requested changes were made to the design as agreed with the Ministry of Health technical team, and a formal presentation of the concept design made on May 5th, 2015. Let's go to the next image there that I think too is really important, because it gives us an indication of the timing of all of this. So in these emails, it says $9 million was approved for the state-of-the-art health center equipped with ambulance bay approximately 4 years ago. Salt tuning ceremony was held in May 2016. Staff and services were relocated to a temporary space in anticipation of the commencement of work. So we're going to be talking about projects being left. Fede, the salt tuning ceremony was right before the election. So of course you got something, you had to inherit that. And even that you did not do well at all, because people can see what is being done there, and that was not done professionally. Right there in this flood plain where the Anse-la-Raye Hospital, the Anse-la-Raye Health Center was being redeveloped and everything, instead of it being higher on the road, y'all built it lower. And I wonder too, what kind of professionalism is that? If you're saying that you're leaving projects for the person behind Wayne Girard to take over, you guys continue to leave messes. You're leaving mess for people to fix, and that's not a project. That's not a project. That's not what people want from you guys. And I think it's really sad to see. So I think too, we can look at the next image here, where we're seeing what was meant to happen.
We have also started the health center, like I said, in Anse-la-Raye.
Construction is also underway at the Anse-la-Raye Health Center. The initiative is a partnership between the National Insurance Corporation and the government, and set to be completed by year end.
We have also started the health center, like I said, in Anse-la-Raye.
Construction is also underway at the Anse-la-Raye Health Center. The initiative is a partnership between the National Insurance Corporation and the government, and set to be completed by year end.
So even when you're supposed to be working on things on the health center for people of Anse-la-Raye, you were out with Butch Stewart as the MP for Anse-la-Raye, as the Minister of Tourism. You were out, I don't know, doing whatever you're doing with Butch Stewart in Barbados, you know, as some kind of crony, really, when you have to represent thousands of people in a community. And like we all know, they need the help in more ways than one. So with the health center and its reconstruction, we can take a look now about what does it really look like when all of this work is being done, and all the boasting that Fede is doing now that people put him out, and he's saying that the projects are done and they're completed, and you know, as if Wayne Girard should just be, you know, kneeling down and thanking him for all the great work that has been done. Let's show you what it really looks like. Attila Pisa over the weekend there. Let's take a look at Anse-la-Raye, the health center. Let's look at these images. I think they are really interesting, and that again is over the weekend, Saturday, Sunday there, and it wasn't that much rain, but this is what we're seeing, and I think it really gives us an understanding of where we are with the projects that people are claiming that they did and boasting that they did. And I'm telling Wayne Gerard from now, there should be no excuses with the kind of work that these people did. I know it's going to be very difficult because after you have to do your own projects, you have to fix theirs as well. So this is what an actual health institution, the ones that's supposed to be better than all others. Somebody says, somebody check on Anse-la-Raye for me. They build a wall in front of a wall in a gutter full of dirty, stinky water. You think I lie, Mealy, and who is the engineer? Look, can we zoom in on that? Look at the madness that is. And then we have to fix it, so that's money being wasted. You will put a wall behind a wall, a gutter in another gutter, and look at what the water isn't running, and you're going to boast with champagne telling you wow about that. This is what we have to show for the monies being spent in these communities. The money's being spent for votes that you can pretend to claim is for development of a constituency. And when you know that you've done that, Fedig, how can you really sit there next to somebody and boast and say that that's what you've done? And for the people in Anse-la-Raye, Bodje, myself, so halfway fair, but as I've always said from the very beginning that I know Fede failed as a broadcast minister for me, as a person in media, and I know for my colleagues as well. And I said that y'all would decide on what to do with Fede. I think you guys did a good choice, a right choice in putting him out, because we've heard about the neglect. I've had the interviews. We've heard people literally cry, farmers and vendors saying that this man does not come out unless he needs the votes. He'll come maybe on a Saturday and try to play cricket with his sons or do whatever. But even then, that's not enough. We have heard this man speak with Sire and tell people, you can hear the sort of arrangements people are making for money and contracts and all of that. And that's a legacy that you have left behind, not the ribbon cutting that you pretend will be all that's necessary for Wayne Gerard to do. And for the contractors, the people who have worked on that building, the monies, the taxpayers' monies that we've spent, wasted clearly, because the flooding has not been addressed at all. All we're getting is, and I'm expecting more of it, because they will all come on Champagne's show to pretend and to recreate and rewrite history like people were not there. People were under you guys when y'all were oppressing them, when you wasted taxpayers' money. And it is a sad, sad day that when the former head of a command center for COVID in the middle of a pandemic with a health center building in his own constituency can do something like that. It's subpar, and I don't want to say it. I don't want to say that I feel sorry for the people of Anse-la-Raye, but it must be a very difficult thing to deal with, that the place that you must go to deal with some health issues, it's being, it's flood prone, it's being flooded by how much water, and then you have somebody boasting about it. We'll take a break. We'll be right back.
I can't stay.
We can win this war. Get vaccinated. Taking our life back. Get vaccinated.
The COVID-19 vaccination drive is mobile and coming to you. Taking the 2 doses of the safe and effective AstraZeneca vaccine is our part to take St. Lucia back. Visit the Ministry of Health and Wellness and Bureau of Health Education Facebook pages to find out the vaccination time and venue nearest to you. Bring personal identification, and if you already have your first dose, bring your COVID-19 vaccination card when getting the second.
Get vaccinated.
This message is brought to you by the Bureau of Health Education of the Ministry of Health and Wellness.
Available at Red Dot in Grosile and Susie's Varieties in Bois de Wange and Vieux-Fort.
Welcome to the Entertainment Nation on steroids. UTV and Hits FM, sinking the eyes and the ears of tomorrow today. Not only can you see it, you can feel it. Airing on channel 124 or tune into radio 92.1 FM is Tresha Lionel in the morning at 11 and the ever controversial Revolution with Christopher Hunt. That's right, we don't do it normal. Stay locked in with UTV and Hits FM, channel 124 and 92.1 FM. UTV, TV for you.
Transmission level of COVID-19 in the country, we remind the public that we are still at risk and must remain vigilant as the threat continues.
Smoking prevents your lungs from working as they should, making it much harder for your body to fight off respiratory diseases like coronavirus. Now, isn't that a good reason to quit? Start with the 3 Ds. Delay as long as you can before giving in to urges. Deep breathing and try a drink of water.
UTV, TV for you.
Mercury C Pro 75, 90, 115, 150, and 200 outboard motors are powerful, uniquely compact, uncompromisingly reliable, and unbelievably fuel efficient. They're the engines with the toughness and durability you need to get the job done. It's the fisher folks' choice for deep-sea fishing, the perfect motor for commercial fishing vessels, commercial workboats. Mercury C Pro 4-stroke outboards offer superior protection against corrosion. Nobody makes a more reliable, powerful, and efficient lineup of outboard motors than Mercury. They are built to go the distance, delivering legendary performance, driven by forward-thinking technology, and are built for any body of water and a wide variety of boats. Mercury C Pro 4-stroke engines. Quality, performance, innovation, reliability. Take work to the next level. Distributed by Island Marine Supplies, Rodney Bay Marina. For more info, call for 509-879.
Hi there, everyone. This is an exclusive
You're watching UTV, TV for you. Welcome back, and thank you very much for staying with us. If you are listening to us on Hits FM and watching on television and the other social media platforms, and permit me, because we will continue in much of the same way. Listen, I just cannot hear things that are not true and not say anything. So yeah, we continue with Friday, okay? Let's listen to this.
What has been his contribution to this whole COVID fight? He has just said, we are committed. He has been there to receive vaccines, but we have not heard anything that is specific or conclusive, or anything that is of any significant weight from the Minister of Health. His leadership, if you ask me, thus far, leaves a lot to be desired. I mean, I hope it gets better, because I want us to get over this.
Yeah.
Well, let's hope, because if I recall, he's the same guy who was talking about there was no back door, and the COVID was entering through the front door. Mm-hmm. And now we're not hearing anything concrete from this guy.
Yeah, he also said that a government minister should not be heading the NIMAC meetings or whatever.
Now, that's Fede and Champagne speaking of the new Minister of Health, Moses Musa Jean-Baptiste. Fede will, clearly you heard him say that he doesn't think that, you know, Musa is not ready, you know, he's not a leader, he doesn't think he's a leader, and all of what he's saying. Musa now, he's been on the job for what, a week and a half, okay? So we're there in the middle of a pandemic, people clearly reeling still from a loss and playing the blame game, and also what you're seeing, boasting any tail. I don't know whether it's his stature that'll make him do that, to boast when you are doing nothing yet, Fede. God, I hate that. But you continue to see more of the same thing where people will continue to blame. Now we'll start with this part of it, where Champagne will now say about the command center. And you know what, can we have a repeat of that clip? Let's just hear again what these people are saying when they're together. You know, when you're having a slumber party and nobody's there to watch and they're there on Sky FM. GVD, by the way, what's happening with you guys? I see nothing happening except movies and prayers. Anyway, let's repeat that, because I want people to understand what exactly is being said, and listen to Champagne particularly.
What has been his contribution to this whole COVID fight? He has just said, we are committed. He has been there to receive vaccines, but we have not heard anything that is specific or conclusive, or anything that is of any significant weight from the Minister of Health. His leadership, if you ask me, thus far, leaves a lot to be desired. I mean, I hope it gets better, because I want us to get over this.
Yeah.
Well, let's hope, because if I recall, he's the same guy who was talking about there was no back door, and the COVID was entering through the front door. And now we're not hearing anything concrete from this guy.
Yeah, he also said that a government minister should not be heading such a the NIMAC meetings or whatever.
So with all of that being said, with the command center stuff, let's remember what Musa Jean-Baptiste said. It's not that a minister shouldn't be, maybe no minister should be, but particularly Fede Pabo, and you could tell that he had the tourism, is it tourism or health? He didn't know what to choose. In fact, no, I lie. He was choosing tourism all the time, and that was a sort of schizophrenic leadership, because it didn't work well. It didn't work well having a minister of tourism heading a health task force. But I will not speak for Musa. Let's hear it himself.
We, Mr. Speaker, I've called for it in English, and I will call again, Mr. Speaker, for the government to remove the Minister for Tourism as head of the command center. Remove the Minister for Tourism as head of the command center. Have a more competent, more technically sound individual who is apt and able to fight this medical battle, Mr. Speaker. Let him stay in his tourism section. The medical battle, have somebody else. Mr. Speaker. Nous commandons pour le gouvernement tirer mam Anse-la-Raye Canawi comme chef ça yo ka en anglais command center. Command center c'est un groupe moun, un groupe moun, Mr. Speaker, qui a directé bataille là en les affaires COVID-19 là. Et nous ka dit ministre tourisme là, il a bayan chay blague en parlement, il pas sérieux. Avec c'est pas lui qui était pour ka chef command center ça là. Un command center c'est qu'on place bataille, Mr. Speaker.
Now, I think it means something if Moses said that then, and right after being sworn in as health minister, he did what he said he would do. It should not be a minister in charge of that. It should be some health practitioner, health expert to be leading a health COVID task force. I believe that was the right thing to do. So when a lot of people are talking, and I remember when Fede was in the house, it more seemed like he was obsessed with Dr. Kenny Anthony than anything else. Maybe he was jealous of his height. I don't know. But we remember Fede Pategadi here, parce que just acheté pour Twaka Kenny. So when you have a new Minister of Health coming in, I do think it says a lot that if you were concerned back then when you're in opposition, if you have if you have the power now, do what you said you were going to do. And I've seen that, and it's only been about 2 weeks there. So I think that means something. And as for the rest of it, when you're talking about the health ministers, Messier, Fede will talk about the health ministers, and with about 2 weeks in to this new administration, I don't want us to have selective amnesia, okay? Let us not forget. Please, let's not forget. And maybe it's forgettable because Mary Isaac, we never saw as a real health minister. I saw Guy Joseph being the minister of everything, but if anything had to be asked about health, Guy would speak about it. You'd have the prime minister talking about it, the CMO, but never Mary. And when she did, she'd say something crazy. Like it was just mad. But in all of that, we haven't seen her in a couple of weeks. I don't know where she was doing what she was doing. But she resurfaces. Mary Isaac, the worst health minister ever, now has something to say with what's going on now with Moses Jabatista as health minister. And maybe she's also giving her own advice. Let's listen.
After weeks of radio silence, former health minister Mary Isaac has resurfaced and is now lambasting the current administration's manner of handling the COVID-19 pandemic. The new government was welcomed with a spike in positive cases following political campaigning by both parties. Despite protocols being adjusted twice in the last 7 days, the former government, particularly the health minister, believes not enough is being done. Isaac seems to take solace in what she calls a good path already set out.
At least now we have laid the structure for them to follow in terms of how to handle this COVID situation.
But Madam Minister, they're not following.
Well, it is really up to them, and the people of the country will see and hold them responsible for whatever happens. You understand? Because that is the most you can do. As a people who voted in a new administration, you expect them to put lives first. You understand? The people first. That is what they campaigned on and promised. To put the people first. And right now they are really not doing that.
According to Isaac, one way to begin is by assessing whether it is wise to keep Express des Îles operational between St. Lucia and Martinique.
At the very least, they could look at what is the advice of the CMO on keeping this link between St. Lucia and Martinique open.
I agree.
I know that it is a very important, tool, the traveling tool connecting the two islands. But at a time when Martinique itself is under so much pressure from COVID, people in St. Lucia must start to understand that that may be a necessity for us to at least suspend that service for a while.
Isaac says the island's healthcare system is overwhelmed and she fears that it may get worse.
What you have happening now is a lot of the people who have tested positive, they are home because the system cannot absorb them.
No.
And these people are home and they do not have anyone to help take care of them. Sometimes an entire household has decided to isolate themselves because one or two have tested positive.
Right.
But they have to go out there and get food and get stuff from the grocery store and so on. So you find that is happening and that is encouraging the spread. So while they are saying that the government is saying the people will do the right thing, you have to respect people. Dead people do not need no respect. I want to say that to this country. Dead people don't need no respect. They're gone. Right? And when we start losing our loved ones, at that point it is too late. We have to do something for us to protect the people in the country.
So does the former Minister of Health have any words of advice for the new government on how they should approach the pandemic?
I would not even dare to try, Champagne, because I know all the hacks are going to come falling down on my head.
Yeah.
And this is a party that believe that they know everything that needs to be done.
Yeah, exactly.
When we were in office, we saw how they demonstrated that. Everything we did, they would go contrary to what was supposed to be done, knowing full well that we were trying our best under the circumstances.
If somebody has to ask for advice on how to deal with the COVID situation, honestly, truly, Fushma, you're going to ask Mary Isaac on how to deal with any situation? It could be to tie balloons on a tree. What I need Mary Isaac advice to do anything for? And even then, she continues to say some madness, like these one-liners about, dead people don't need no respect. I think I understand what she's trying to say, but even then, the tact, the lack of critical thought. Who wants your advice? And the people that asking for advice is Champagne and them in their own little bunker, because I remember he asked, Timothy, I think it was, who asked the former Prime Minister advice for the new administration, and Alan was saying you don't have advice to give. Nobody wants your advice. I keep saying that if I wanted advice on how to lose an election, I'll ask Alan Chastney. If I want advice on how to steal an election and still paid, like Marezo. Advice on how to deal with the health situation that you guys failed at. If we have forgotten the failure that Mary Isaac was, it will be my duty to remind you of what that looked like. We have an issue to deal with, and for what I've seen that we have placed some more attention on educating members of the public. We are getting different vaccines. I know that now Pfizer is FDA approved just today, and it's also being given today as well at different parts of the country. So there are some different measures being taken with regards to COVID. When the COVID wardens were beating people up in Castries and everything else, we saw Mary Isaac lying and saying that they were being, they were the ones that were being oppressed. There were people coming to them and really manhandling them, and that while the video was going on and we know what was going on. So let us look at this health minister, because Caesar vle advise manière pour dire Mary Isaac, you are not the one, and that is why I think too the only way you can legitimately call any station, do anything, have any conversation is with Champagne, because he's a hack and he will not ask questions and he will not be objective to ask you really when you did what you did and didn't do what you would do, when you were absent from everything, when people were dying and we're still dealing with something, you were not there. When people ask you about the mold, I was there. My reporter friends asking you about mold in the hospitals, you said everywhere has mold. And you want to come now, come and talk about advice? Nobody wants it. Well, I for one don't want it. I can take advice from anybody else, but when Miriam Mavli, now do for Mavli. So again, my duty to remind you of what that looked like with Mary as health minister under COVID.
This is the one side, as you can see, it's facing down. Because that is
according to Health Minister Mary Isaac, every single St. Lucian who has contracted COVID-19 dropped the ball in some way. Further, Isaac says that non-adherence to the mask-wearing protocol has been St. Lucia's downfall.
The first responsibility is on you, is on the individual, the citizen. If everybody had obeyed the protocol, wear your mask like they do in Taiwan, 25 million people, we would not be where we are today. That is what we have to focus on. All we have to do is wear our mask, So you go to somebody's home, your family, your friends, you have your mask on. It cannot spread.
Despite the minister's statements, there are reports that people become infected by the virus even after following all recommended protocols.
Not if you obey the protocols.
So do you think
but you see the proof in Taiwan.
So health professionals, Madam
if you obey the protocols and you don't drop your guard, you cannot get COVID.
Madam Minister,
that's the only thing we know for sure.
I personally know people with underlying issues who took the protocols very seriously and have ended up dead. So do you think that the protocols are foolproof?
Well, I think that wearing your mask can save you from getting COVID-19. That's all I'm telling you here. I do not have experience in COVID-19. Nobody does. There's no proven research that can say to us this, that, or that. The only thing we know is when we look at other larger populations that have survived better than we are surviving right now, and when you look at what they do, they wear their mask. That is all I can say about that.
Members of the media sought clarification on the minister's sentiments, considering doctors, police officers, and even the Deputy Commissioner of Police have all contracted the virus.
They dropped the ball somewhere. Anybody who has had it, dropped the ball. They either went to visit a family, a friend, they hug a person that they love that had it, and they got it. You understand? If you don't drop your guard, if I have it tomorrow, it's because I dropped my guard.
As of February 9th, St. Lucia had recorded over 2,100 total cases of the virus, as well as 22 COVID-19 related deaths.
Yourself were unsuccessful.
So you don't think I'm
Is
doing a
that
good job as a Minister of Health?
Do you believe that everybody who
Would
gets
you have
elected-
preferred to have somebody else?
Madam Minister, that is
I think I'm doing a very good job as a Minister of Health.
Are you serious?
I think I'm doing a very good job as a Minister of Health, and look at what we have done under COVID. We have stood the test of time, and we are continuing to keep the country safe. So I believe that I have justified my existence.
I'm sure you.
I think I'm doing a very good job as a Minister of Health. We have it under control. Let's say that now I can breathe comfortably. I believe that we have contained the virus again. At the beginning we did before the spike, and that was great. The workers, they have done a phenomenal job containing this virus. And we are at a point now where we can say we have it under control. We have it under control.
We have it totally under control.
We have it under control sufficiently so that we can relax a little, and this is why we have relaxed the protocol.
The surge in COVID-19 cases has raised concern about hospital bed shortages. Health officials indicated that although the respiratory hospital will hold some 126 patients upon completion, 82 beds are currently available for use. St. Lucia confirmed 21 new COVID-19 cases. 13 of the new cases were recorded on Saturday, November 7th. 5 of the 13 cases were captured through the contact tracing process. Chief Medical Officer Dr. Sharon Belmar-George confirmed that the 8 new cases recorded on Sunday brought the total number of patients in care to almost 100.
As you can see, I've been put in a place called the dining room at the old maternity wing at the Victoria Hospital Respiratory Clinic. As you can see, I'm welcomed with a lovely amount of water in the entrance. As you can see that. This is a health hazard. Anybody can slip and fall at night. If the light is turned off and I have to walk through, I can easily slip and fall and hurt myself. I'm a COVID patient. This is where I see a sign, wet floor. This is where the quarters have been put to live. It's not even a normal hospital ward. I can't understand how, as you can see, more and more water. There's water all here on the floor. It's hard to see with the camera, but all this floor is wet. And this is where I'm sleeping. I'm not in a ward. There's just walls around me. If you see the ceiling, it looks like there's water leaking. I don't understand how a human being can tell me I'm a COVID patient and this is the facility they have for me. I think I would rather quarantine at home. This is the beautiful facility that they put me to stay in, expect me to stay here.
Anxiety over the case tally comes amid a now viral video of a male COVID-19 patient complaining about conditions at the respiratory hospital. In the video, the man claims he has been placed in a makeshift ward due to a lack of space, pointing out what he perceives as a number of health hazards. Health Minister Mary Isaac says the man has since been transferred.
That was one individual, and we all know that there are renovations taking place at the hospital. We have had to speed up the renovations because now we have the spike in COVID. Unfortunately, it's not anybody's fault, but we have to deal with that issue. So the gentleman has been moved to another ward that is a little bit better. But we do have these conditions there right now, and until we have finished the renovations, we expect, that, people will have to put up with some conditions that are not necessarily, up to standard.
While the number of cases has far surpassed the number of beds at the facility, health officials are now faced with another issue. There are also issues of what seem to be either mold or mildew when you look at that video.
Well, we have mold and mildew in almost every building in St. Lucia, so that is really a minor issue.
Whoever gave the idea that delayed construction at the hospital
is an idea of not having resources is misguided. There is not an issue with resources. It is a work in progress.
The Ministry of Health cited construction delays at the Victoria Respiratory Hospital for the relocation of COVID-19 patients in a recent press release, stating, quote, "The move is necessary given that the respiratory hospital is not operating at full capacity due to delays in construction," unquote. The missive did not detail the extent of the construction work left to be done at the hospital, nor were officials able to provide media personnel with a timeline for the completion of construction. Minister for Economic Development Guy Joseph, who says the waters have been muddied in the situation, sought to clear the air on the matter.
This is a project that we approached the World Bank to finance. And the World Bank has been doing a fantastic, that's one time I can put both hands up for the World Bank and say that they've bent over backwards to accommodate that project, understanding the importance of having a respiratory center to respond to COVID. So we've done a complete rehabilitation from electricals, plumbing, rooms, because you have to put people in isolated rooms, bathroom, toilet facilities, new septic tanks had to be built. I mean, when people do not understand the extent of the work that has gone on at VH as we speak.
This is where I have to live. Look at my wonderful counter. My beautiful counter. I feel like I'm in a crack den. The place is not complete. I don't even understand.
We have it under control. Let's say that now I can breathe comfortably. I believe that we have contained the virus again. At the beginning we did before the spike, and that was great. The workers, they have done a phenomenal job containing this virus. And we are at a point now where we can say we have it under control. We have it under control.
We have it totally under control.
We have it under control sufficiently so that we can relax a little. And this is why we have relaxed the protocols for the Christmas season.
How do you argue with success?
We have it under control.
So shall we take that something like that there's no animosity? So shall we take that something like that there's no animosity?
Avec moun ki ka sa yo ka di yo ka pon kout la et puis yo ka fizi we yo nan lot, yo ka chop up yo nan lot avec yo ka rive Victoria Hospital. Là yo fini yo ka complain la pani nurse, la pani docteur, yo pa traité yo bien. Mais yo pa ka chile pour yo l'argent ça là yo ka pon ay boy wom nan pour yo sa mette en indication issue pour yo sa acheter groceries ek bagay bay madame yo nan kay yo plutôt pour yo sa ka aller ka prend tout l'argent ça boy wom et puis là yo fini yo ka vini complain about ça ki ni ek ça ki pani Victoria Hospital.
That last part there, it just reminded me of, you know, when neighbors calling each other, upadi, no more, upadi. Just make we bear, make we for people that say, Lucia, about last boy home, and you take the money and do whatever and do whatever and do whatever. And that's what we really saw during this madness with Mary as health minister. Let's try to take the calls. You can call us at 572-7588 and also at 484-7588. When we relax the protocols right before Christmas that time, again, absolving yourself of any kind of responsibility, Mary Isaac. Mavli. Let's take the call. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Miss Tresha.
Good afternoon, and thank you for holding.
Yeah, did you make a report to the police when the gentleman threatened to spit on you, did you?
Yes, I did.
And when he threatened to hit you with the report?
Yes, I did.
So, would you mind telling us what is the status?
I never expected to be...
Okay. These matters, if you wish.
Okay, To be honest, I haven't received any kind of real feedback on that. I did I did make the report, and remember, it's not just one incident. That was one in Imperial. There was the other one in Choiseul, and there were messages and posts that people were making that they wanted to kill me and the ways to kill me.
So these matters are pending or under
investigation? Yeah, under investigation.
But you need to ensure that these matters, are expedited.
You are completely correct. Mama Moki Voyo, man. Janice Voyo.
No, I just here to follow up with what's taking place in our country.
I get you.
That's the first part in my contribution.
Okay.
The second part of my contribution is that I want to say how I am very, very, very happy that you are continuing with this program. You know why?
Tell me.
Because you are continuing to expose all the malpropte of the former administration as far as COVID is concerned. And now, the same people who messed up in 9 days, they want to speak with authority to blame this present administration. So all these clips that you are showing right now, it is to remind us where we came from. You remember Dominic Fede, when people call, people beg, people plead for the second testing of the visitors. The man said a second testing of the visitors will
annihilate. That's your word.
Never forget that.
I know.
I checked my dictionary and actually go and check the meaning because that word was so big to pronounce. Annihilate. Only to find out annihilate means to destroy, The man said that the second testing would annihilate the tourism industry. People beg. All how we try to make sure. Invaders sing a song, Close the Border, Feme Border. He sing it both in English. We saw people with their little boats, people like Joe Knows, people like Aaron Alexander. Their poor little boats couldn't go out. That was their daily living. That is what they used to do to survive. Aaron Alexander couldn't go out on the sea. Joe Knows couldn't go out on the sea.
But who could go? Who did we see?
You saw people going out on the sea with hundreds of visitors doing the doggy style without masks. They left the tap open. They left the tap wide open. They left the floodgates wide open. But now in 9 days, they want to blame this administration. So this show that you are doing right now, I pray that God will continue to strengthen you. And not only in COVID, in every area where they messed up. But I will not tell them that they lost their authority to speak on July 26th. I will not tell them that. But
like what the former Prime Minister said.
I will not tell them that. So have a nice day.
Thank you very much, Colin.
May God bless.
Take care. Take care. Thank you very much. And I think you are absolutely correct when we remember the lack of fairness and the different protocols. I don't think people had a problem with the protocols. They had a problem with being treated differently. The people who are friends and family of the people in power. Your father boats can go out like it's normal. But he's right. Jonas couldn't go out, and Aaron Alexander and all of the others, whose names we don't know, they could not have that same sort of preferential treatment. And there should not be preferential treatment at all. It's supposed to be for everybody. Mwela pou gade si se men bot sa if they can go out. Mwen vle sav si pip se ish chasne. I want to see, and we dare to see, and that is why we have to keep all of them accountable. All of them accountable. Let's take the other call. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Trisha.
Good afternoon, sir. Padje. Mwela, comment you are?
Moi pas tellement bien. Something major happened in Choiseul. There is a landslide just on top of me. So I'm calling on the authority that needs immediately. The village council have not yet come and have a look at that. The government have to dispatch a team Immediately, I'm calling on them to come and see that. You need people with expertise to see if the people can stay there for the night. Because what I see there is a disaster waiting to happen. It's not now I ask the council to clear them big trees on top of the hill. You're not putting big trees like that with them heavy loads. When the wind is blowing, it is rocking the soil. The only Apache is just square peg in wrong hole. They keep on putting square peg in wrong hole. And when I talk people in the want to say things, there is a septic tank exposed on the beach. It happened due to Mr. Bradley Felix that gave the fellas the authority to take the on the beach. This septic tank need to shut down. I'm calling on the authority to shut it down for me, please. This is where I'm making my livelihood. You cannot have waste from a septic tank going into the sea. It is not healthy. I keep on talking about it over and over. So Trisha, moment we bagay, choisir et puis de oui so qui ni plus bra élection. Moi qui dis ça, de côté ni plus bra élection. So na kuya king in charge of communications. Pour dispatch your team, vinwe de Jialani, beaucoup de meilleurs. So okay, Michael.
Okay, thank you very much, caller.
Yes.
And I do hope that there are people who are hearing what you're saying. I do know of a landslide that happened in Columbet, in Soufrière over the weekend. I haven't heard of the one in Choiseul or the impending one that you're saying that might happen with what you're seeing. And, you know, we need to take these things very, very, very seriously with the weather systems that we're going to see in the future. I think we have another call. Good
morning.
Good morning, caller. Is it still morning? Good afternoon.
Good to see you. Trisha, I'm so happy to get the line. Just want to wish you all the best. You have been doing a good job. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Yes, I can, caller.
Wish you all the best. And I think you have been doing a good job. And I want to join the voices.
Thank you.
That you're doing a marvelous job for us in St. Lucia, especially those who does not have the privilege to get the information. Number one, I want to also wish the government, especially Mr. Pierre, Honorable Mr. Pierre, for a job well done. I think he has been started on the right foot. I think people do not understand him of his politics, but I know his experience in the politics, knowing St. Lucia, and knowing St. Lucian, sometimes they do not understand. Sometimes we do not understand the politics and what I should say national in scope. What I mean to say that when a politician will come and say something that pertaining to the national, people who when he's a politician, they say politics again. So they do not know the differentiation between. And hence the reason I know he knows St. Lucian and he knows what he's doing. So when people were saying follow the scientists, I understood what he was trying to say, because if he had bring the people together with him, they would say they would mix in politics and what needs to be done. But anyway, I understood your point of view with him and the conference that they had.
You understood where I was coming from?
Say that again?
You understood where I was coming from about the press conference?
Yeah, with the government, with the Prime Minister and the Minister for Health.
Okay.
You know, so what I'm saying is this: we have, as a people, we have put a new government in place. We have to give them a chance and opportunity to develop. They have a lot of things to do, because at the beginning we were asking the previous administration to close the border. They did not take heed. They allowed people to come in with the disease, giving it to us, spreading all about the place. And you find that everybody spread the things all about the place, and then they want the problem to be solved one time, once and for all. I don't think it is possible. We all have to come together, wear our masks, sanitize our hands, wash our hands. And one other thing too with that COVID thing, though, I'm not a hand people give the encouragement to boost your immune system, strengthen your immune system. And sleep well, eat well, and the number of the junks that we eat in the the things, the poison overseas, we continue to put it in our system. These are the things that killing us. So it is high time for us to go back to the ground and creating or producing the food, the right food without the chemical, and so that we will have a stronger immune system. Thank you so very much. You're doing a good job, Michael. All the best to you.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you for calling, and I hope to hear from you more as we go on during the week and the weeks after that. And if we're going to keep speaking about the earlier issue with Anse-la-Raye and Fede, I take particular issue with that because if you have ever gone there and listened to people there continues to be the case that they're making that young people will take their own time and create their own dances and try to have their own extracurricular activities. There are people who hunger for more, and they're doing the best that they can. You have mothers that are working, but they're vending, they're doing all what they can do. And we've seen things that, it's trying to hinder that. They don't respect it, so now they put in strip clubs and alcohol for people to, deal with all of these issues. And when we went there, that's what the major issue was, that people want more, but they're just being oppressed even more with just alcohol and strippers and, that kind of thing, and giving money for your votes. And I think people need more. They need more. It's a fishing village. Leave it to Fede, of course, to come there and try to make everything about tourism, where the people still don't have a market. They still don't have a way to even get fuel. They have to go all the way to Soufrière or all the way to Castries from where they are. These things need to be addressed. And I am saying for them, when Girard Lapan PS la pour jouer, there is no time to wait. These people need all the help that they can get because they're coming from a con man. Clearly, you will continue to con and continue to lie, but we're tired of that. Let's see what you have in place. Let's see how these people can be put in a better position. Let's take the other call. Good afternoon. Hi, caller. Good afternoon. You are on.
Hello. Good afternoon, Trisha.
Hi. How are you?
How are you? Good afternoon. How are you doing?
I'm okay. Do you mind turning down whatever you're listening to and listen to me through the phone or whatever?
Okay. All right. Yes, I just turned it down.
Okay. All right. Let's go.
Oh yeah, I turned it down already.
Okay. Well, talk to me. What's on your mind?
Yeah, I just want to say, if I was in Mary Isaac's shoes, I wouldn't even come and show my face on television talking too much crap.
Yeah, because, if you have shame, you ain't saying nothing. You're saying, but at least, you get something to put on your CV, you get Minister of Health, you can try to get another job. But just party a year.
Exactly, just party a year, because Mary Isaac was the worst ever Minister of Health Tenusha has ever seen in history. And then for she to come and open her flap, so much shit. What did Mary Isaac do, right, during her 5-year reign? Or was she coming and criticized there, right? She was the one who did all that.
I agree with you, caller.
I will not even come on television and talk all that crap. And let me tell you that, Trisha. Let me tell you that. You see government winning elections there, right? It was not only of the people, it was the Lord that put that government in power, right? Because so much money was spent, 86,000 plus was spent just to collect ballot boxes, right? They tried to steal the election. They tried to buy the election. But everything they tried, right? The Lord was at the head of that, right? The Lord was in charge and he showed them who is boss, right? So when they come and criticize people about the science, the whole world is based on science, right? The entire world is based on science. We live in Usha, we board a plane, and we go to the rest of the world, right? It's computers. Everything is science. It's computers, the pilots, the captains have to follow to get us to our destination. So to bagay say science with the ignorance, they can do whatever they do. Right? That government is there to stay. And they will never lose another election.
Thank you very much. Why are you saying that?
All right. Thank you, Michael. Bye-bye.
Okay, take care. Bye. Yeah. And he's right. Some people are rara still. And particularly Champagne. I think somebody needs to, really check on Champagne. with what I've heard already for the morning and what I continue to hear on Sky FM, I don't think he's handling this loss very well at all. Sometimes he seems to accept it, and other times I can hear him frothing at the mouth, like, you know, this man, something's wrong. And for all of the people that talking to him and all the people that go in and join him on the show, check the man properly, please. Have a missy fair by like Koi. And for the others, like Minerva, you know, she too seems to be going through it mentally. I know it's a very difficult time for you guys, seeing that you have put in your very heart and soul and pride and everything that is yours personally into a party and into being a hack. But, you know, now I think if you can, you know, try to take yourself out of that. It's not good for you mentally, guys. Champagne, please. So even if we continue to speak about the COVID and the protocols and everything like that, I just want us to remember too that right before elections, we still relax protocols. So people could have motorcades and people could have had what they wanted in their little communities. And then the one time there was the national motorcade was the Flobo. Like I've heard SLP says, they canceled that, so they could not have done an island-wide sort of thing going on. So the relaxed protocols right before Christmas, relaxed protocols right before elections, these things concern me, as do the people who allowed it to happen, the CMO and the other health practitioners and experts that supposed to know better. We took a lot of this politics and it became about, you know, maybe the Prime Minister and certain people having an edge and being able to do what they're doing. And now that we find ourselves in this position, it's not just with elections too. I know that there are people who went on their boat rides, Instagram stories over this weekend show that some people still will have their little things happening in their own homes. So we do need to take individual responsibility for what's going on in our country. I continue to thank you. You talk about this show. Some people saying that they like that the show is still going on, but I also appreciate the calls and the comments. I'm telling you guys that you are my co-host, and certain things that I don't remember, you will let me remember. Gaspar, I think, about the reports that I made with the assault and everything that the Flobo supporters, you know, had against me. I think you're right that I should check up on that. And thanks, I think I will. But like I said, we're going to continue to have these conversations in the most honest way that we can. I appreciate the calls and comments. I appreciate you guys listening and watching on the different platforms where we continue to stream live. I hopefully will see you tomorrow. And as for some people that think as if, you know, they have speed dial for God, you are right. Boje Babu's a long pens My grandmother taught me that one too. Guys, I'll see you on Tuesday at 11, see Boje Vle, where we will continue to speak about the different topics. But until I see you then, please, please, please have a good one. And if you want to, you can listen to Monster when he speaks about, you know, the best way to live and breakfast in bed and all of that. But, you know, it's food for thought on what you want to see happen. And even as we talk about that, there's a lot going on with the health institutions, not just here, but around the region in Guadeloupe and Martinique. So this COVID situation is it's a very dire one, and I will encourage you to please follow the protocols, wear your mask, keep the distance, do what you need to. If you need to do any more research before you get the vaccines, do it, but do so. Have a good one.
Hello, I'm at OKEO. Yeah, imagine this is my birthday. Yeah, I mean today's a man's birthday. I cannot get breakfast in bed at my home. So where's the next best place to get breakfast in bed? At the hospital. So I did all my calculations to come back at OKU. Just for me to get breakfast in bed. Just for breakfast in bed. I'm not making my birthday pass and I get breakfast in bed, boy. No woman can me on that. You have a woman and you cannot give you breakfast in bed. Just come at OKU. Break something, sprint something, fix something. Come and lie down on the bed for free. But you don't have to pay money after. Understand? Instead of going to a hotel or any villa, come at OKEU. You can serve by the most beautiful nurses in the whole world. Injections in your ass 24/7, but it's worth the breakfast in bed. Yeah, right now there, I watch African movies whole night. They drug me, I lie down there, I fall asleep, I knock out. I open my eye, breakfast. Close my eye, open my eye, lunch. Close my eye, open my eye, dinner. Close my eye, open my eye, breakfast in bed. Come at OKU for the breakfast in bed. For further information, call 1-800, no, I lie, 1758 OKEU. Breakfast in bed. Come, you'll get it.
I can't stay.